Well, a couple of weeks before the government lockdown, we decided to close the office. Now, every new person that comes into our business, every person in the business has a laptop, so we could, and we spent a lot of money on systems and infrastructure to allow remote working. So it was a relatively seamless process to move everybody out of the office. And when the advice from the government was to stay at home, we worked through that, and the business it did okay. We perversely, with the use of Zoom and Teams and such like, we managed to communicate, and we managed to win business through that, which was quite unusual. However, I found especially some of the younger people and some of the people with families were really struggling to work from home. Children around them, or people who live with the mum and dad at home, they didn't have a space to work in properly or whatever. And whereas I said the business was still okay, what I was finding is that those little 5-minute conversations that I talked about previously, which people will have with somebody. So I could perhaps think, I need to speak to Matthew about this, and then the phone would ring, and then that little bit of a 5-minute conversation you would have, that little snippet that would, if that project was going from here to there, and you needed and you need to keep touching that issue or that problem. If you're not having those little conversations, you end up not being here but somewhere up there. So what we were finding is that the business was doing okay, as I said previously, but it wasn't flourishing, and the people were not developing the same, and the communication wasn't as good. We were having you're phoning people all the time or whatever, and still seeing them face to face via social media, whatever medium we use, but that communication in the business wasn't. So that's the biggest issue that we had. And then, so what we decided, quite against what most of the UK is doing, really, in some respects, we invested in an office that's 3 times bigger, that allowed social distancing within that. We've had that approved by a health and safety company to make sure that it complies with all the regulations. And we've brought people back into the office, and we can see a massive difference in people's well-being and people's general happiness level. So yeah, we've navigated around it. We're prepared to go, if it went to a lockdown again, which potentially could happen, we would look to close the office again and go back to it, because we'd have to. But ideally, we think we're very well positioned now to go into this new world of what we've got now within the COVID environment.